5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey everybody, it's Alex Reyes here. Power baby. Oh no, I'm sorry. Let's redo that. I'm not Alex. I'm Dalton Chunky. How are you doing, guys? It's great to be here. We're gonna have an awesome show today. It's gonna be the best one yet because Chunky's here to save the day. Alex has a little throat problem, but it's no problem at all. He's still here. He's with you guys, and it's gonna be a great show. It's gonna have a lot of power. We got great guests today. We have Morgan Plowden and we have Mason Bumba. Before we get into the interviews, I just want to give a shout out to the sponsors. We got ASG. Yeah, look at that gold gear, man. Top 10. We have Doris Brothers. Oh, yeah. Power, baby. Oh, my God. I keep trying to do it, but no one can compare to Alex, seriously. But, yeah. All right, so first off, to start the show, we are going to start off with Mason Bumba. This kid just absolutely blows my mind. He's 13, and he's done more than I could ever do, than anyone else can ever do. He's multi-world champion, Waco champion. He fights, he does forms, he does weapons, he does everything. He has his own clothing brand. God, man, it's the evolution of the sport that just really, it really makes me feel good that it's going in the right direction, especially with kids like him. So let's bring him onto the show. Let's see if we can get him up here. How do we do this? There he is. Hey, Mason.
Hey, what's up, Dalton? How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I
Everything
can
good?
hear you loud and clear.
All right, awesome. Hey, welcome to the show. I believe you haven't been on the show yet, right?
No, I've not.
Yeah, me neither. It's okay. We can both be nervous. But now, first off, congratulations on everything you did at Battle of Atlanta.
Thank you.
It's truly great, man. So let's run it down. You won everything. You won everything in 3 different categories: forms, weapons, and fighting. Am I right?
Yes, you are correct. I won the 1300 Forms Overall Grand Championship, 1300 Weapons Overall Grand Championship, and the 1213 Point Fighting Grand Championship as well.
Wow. And now you also did teams, right? How was doing teams with the next level kids? I mean, you really fit. You're all world class talent, and I loved watching. I was right in the front row. I would never miss a fight like that.
Yes, it was awesome fighting with Next Level. They're an awesome group of people, and I'm glad I got to team fight with them.
Now, did Jesse come up to you like beforehand, or did you have a little bit of a notice? Did you know you were going to fight with them, or did you come in Atlanta and they're like, "Yo, Mason, you want to do some team fighting?"
Oh, so I was actually sitting at lunch with a couple of my teammates, and my dad called me up and said that Jesse asked one of my coaches or my dad that he wanted me to team fight with Next Level, and so I had and team fights was about to start, so I had to run upstairs from lunch at Subway, and I had to run upstairs, get changed, get all my gear on, and get ready to fight.
Wow, I had a thing like that once. The one time I decided to go to a tournament literally the day it was starting. So I had to pack up all my gear, drive about 6 hours, and then I made it right before the division was called. It was insane. And so I totally feel for you. I mean, I don't feel for you on that level because I haven't fought a little bit. I'm getting there, but I'm not as good as you, though. I remember there was one time I saw you fighting in Waco, and you threw, I believe it was a spinning back kick to this kid's helmet, completely rocked him. I think I sent that to like 20 of my friends on Facebook. It's a highlight reel.
Yes,
You,
that's definitely one of my proudest moments for sure.
yeah. So you're 13 years old.
Yes,
You do weapons, you do forms. You're very good at tricking, astronomical. You have your own clothing brand.
yes, sir.
Now, do you go to school or do you cyber school?
No, I actually go to public school.
You go to a public school. How do you balance all of that? Talk about that and then maybe give some like tips for like the kids that are going to school and trying to compete because nobody's as good as you as competing. Oh, look at that. We have some footage of you on America's Got Talent. Oh
Yeah.
my God. Add another thing to the criteria, man. Seriously. It's insane. How do you do all that? How do you do everything and go to school?
So I usually wake up maybe around an hour before school starts, get ready, and then I walk to school. And then I go throughout my school day without worrying about anything, just worrying about getting my schoolwork done and making sure that I really have the minimal amount of homework for after school, because after school, right after school, I have training for up to 4 hours some days with fighting and forms, and then after that, I do any homework that is needed, and then throughout the day, I get notifications on my phone of orders from my Relentless brand, and when I get home after practice, I fulfill those orders and ship them out as soon as I can.
Now, the Relentless brand, right? Let's cover that for a little bit. Is that for kids, right? Is that mainly for kids, or do you guys have for adults too?
Relentless is for anyone and everyone who is relentless, who has a relentless spirit or nature about them.
Yeah,
From like my cousins that are under 5 years old and my great grandma who was 90 years old.
nice. It truly is. It truly is a family thing. I like that. You know, family's important.
Yes.
I see a lot of people on Instagram and Facebook wearing the Relentless brand, and I got to give you credit for only opening. You know, just recently, in my opinion. I mean, you haven't been around for a decade, but still,
Hmm.
you just opened recently, and you're doing quite well. I got to say that you're doing quite well.
Yes, I'm doing. I believe I'm doing very well for only being open for around 7 months or so. I've been to Maine once, the state of Maine once to have a booth and to sell my gear and to do a demo at the tournament that the promoters have asked me to do. And I'm next week I'm actually going back to Maine to do another demo and to sell more Relentless as well.
Yeah, that was at the Battle of Maine with Mark Heward. Yeah, I know Mark for a long time. He's a really great guy, and I think it was smart because you're definitely the best young talent that this sport has. And
Thank you.
it's young talent like you and all the guys in the youth divisions that when people like me and Cole and Rashad and Jackson are gone and we're getting all the awards for being old, that when you're an adult, you're gonna be at the top of the food chain. I can give you that, man. It's insane.
Yes, thank you.
So when were you on America's Got Talent?
I was on America's Got Talent when I was in fourth grade, so I was around 10 years old,
Now
2016. So it'll be about three. This year it was 3 years since I was.
3 years this year.
Mhm.
What was that experience, especially as a 10-year-old? Because it's insane for like adults to go on that show and have a good outcome, but a 10-year-old who's maybe in fourth grade, fifth grade, doing all those flips and tricks, you know, it has to take a toll on you.
Yes, it was definitely probably one of the best experiences I've ever had, but probably one of the most stressed and overwhelming because I had so much rehearsal going into it, so many interviews, so many like trials and tribulations, lots of emotions, roller coaster of emotions going up and down before I'm about to perform, when I have a couple days before I perform. But it was overall a great experience.
Yeah, you did that relatively young. Now, a lot of people have are trying to follow in your footsteps. I know a couple off the top of my head, like Haley Glass and Michael Molina. Now, is there any advice that you would give for like Michael, who's going through that process now? He was just on a couple of days ago, or anybody else that has the idea that, because I'm sure anybody in the sport can do it, but it's a matter of more than just going out there. You have to practice, you have to rehearse, you have to do the interviews, and that's not a
Mhm.
lot of trouble that we have to go through now. Nobody's going to come up and interview you before you practice your form
Yeah.
at home. But when you're practicing there with singers and comedians, magicians and acrobats, oh my god, all that,
Yeah.
it's completely different. It has to be,
Mhm.
right?
Yes, it is. Definitely a different environment than many martial arts tournaments that you go to. Everybody is so different, but also so similar in a way because everybody has the same goal in mind of reaching the end and eventually winning the $1 million. But everybody's different in their talents and the ways that they do things, and it's just awesome. Like, if I had any advice to give to like younger kids trying to do this, I would say like train hard and like it's all rewarding in the end. Like, even if it's like tiring or you want to like give up in the beginning with through all the rehearsal and trials and tribulations and stuff, keep going because it opens. Even if you don't like, if you, like me, I made it to the second round and I didn't make it any farther. So even if you only make it to the second round, it opens up so many opportunities because I got to go to Italy to perform, China to perform, just because of America's Got Talent. So
Nice. No, I mean, truly, congratulations with that. Oh, look at that smile. That's a big smile. I like that. So, how long have you been on the NASCAR scene? It seems like forever, and you're only 13. So, how long have you been going to like national tournaments?
my first tournament, my first NASCAR tournament was I was seven and two. No, I was actually six. No. I was sorry. I was my first time at NASCAR was 2011 at the Diamond Nationals. I had just turned 6 years old, and it was I was in the underbelt division. I did forms and fighting. I hadn't learned a weapon yet, but I've been competing throughout NASCAR, like here and there, up until 2011, from like 2014 or so. And then around in 2014, I started doing the full circuit and really enjoying it, all the competition stuff.
Now, when you were there, when you didn't know a weapon, you know, when you couldn't do all the double legs and corks and flash kicks, right? Did you envision where you would be today? Did you think, oh, I'm going to be a complete beast and just flip and smack invisible people with my bow and then I'm going to salute them as they fly through the air? Like am I going to be interviewed on stages in front of hundreds of people, thousands of people? Am I going to be compared to the best competitors in the world? You know, it's like it's surely a destination that everyone wants to get to,
Mm-hmm.
and you've done it quite well.
Yeah, so I definitely had some role models along the way, and I didn't really envision myself to be at the where I'm at now, but I really took it step by step through hard work and lots of training, and then it just led me down this path where I am as successful as I am today.
Now, I don't want to keep you too long, but let me try to hit one more. Is there anything that we can look forward to the Bomba, the Master, popping off later? Is there ever going to be a sync? Is there ever going to be a new weapon? Is there ever going to be something new that we should, kind of buy a ticket to in advance because we just want to see it?
Um, I don't know. I have some tricks up my sleeve for weapons and forms, and some revolutionary stuff that NASCAR has never seen before. And I'm excited to roll that out so you guys can see that. And
I,
also look for more triple grands.
Look for more triple grands. I will hold you to that because I do not doubt you one bit. I swear. Well, Mason, you did great. I think you were about as much nervous as me. I think I was a little more nervous because I have to, if I slur, I'm gonna look like an idiot. But you are truly amazing. I want to be you when I grow up. So I want you. So keep practicing, keep training, keep growing as a brand, and I look forward to speaking to you in the future.
Awesome. Thank you, Dalton. It was great speaking with you.
No problem, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right. Let's see here. Hey, Morgan. Can you hear me? Is everything good?
Yeah.
Awesome. I've been waiting for this for a while because I always loved you when you were fighting because it's truly different than everything else that I see when I go to NASCAR. And I go to a lot of NASCARs.
Thank you.
Now, one thing I want to stick to is you because I know a lot of times when people interview you, they want to know, oh, what's it like training with your dad? What's it like training with your brother? I've heard that question like millions of times, but I have some questions that I've always wanted to ask you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So, number one, congratulations on Battle of Atlanta.
Thank
Truly,
you.
another win to the 4,000, however many titles you've won at big tournaments, small tournaments, whatever. Now, in my mind, you have to be, if not the greatest, one of the greatest female point fighters to hit the scene, ever, like ever.
Thank
Because when you hit the mat, it seems like there's not a bad result. I'm sure there's been bad results in the past. We've all
you.
gone through that phase. We've all had ups and downs, but every time I see you personally, it's it's always a remarkable achievement. Warrior Cups, US Opens, Battle of Atlanta, you know, so many big tournaments and it's insane.
Thank you.
So let's talk a little more about that. How do you see yourself? Like, do you think that you've come a long way, especially since after the injury?
Yeah, so especially after the injury, because that was such just a hard time and things that I had to, overcome to be able to come back. But yeah, I don't know the way I see myself. Like, I know I've been pretty successful, and I continue to chase success. And I've been competing on the circuit for a while, but it's something that I really enjoy. But that's really what I focus on. Just the next match. That's just what I focus on.
Nice. I mean, I know what it's like to go through an injury and it's not fun. There's countless days of just sitting there. Oh, my camera's bugging out. I'm so sorry. Uh, I just want to just there. There we go. That's pretty good. Now, oh my God, what is going on? I think I'm nervous because I'm always nervous when I'm talking to someone. Oh my God, is this? Anyway, let's get to it. Uh, I know what it's like to go through an injury. It's not fun. Countless days of sitting there just wanting to get back on the mat, but you've done it in remarkable fashion. Oh, look at that. We already have people saying hey to you. I believe
Yeah, hey Katie.
Katie. Yeah. So one thing I saw is the Queen of New York. You are going back to New York, and how's that going? Tell us all about the whole New York thing, because I know
Yeah,
you were in there before.
yeah. I've been to New York a couple times for different seminars. Which Jesse Ray is bringing me back in September for a seminar the day before his tournament. And I've never actually been to his tournament and competed in his tournament. So that's something that I'm really looking forward to, as well as going to and doing the seminar.
Nice. Now, I guess I kind of have to ask. Uh, your dad and your brother, obvious motivators, but how many times have you beat Avery? Let's can you at least give us like a round number? Oh, I kind of beat him like 100 times.
No, so that's so funny. Um, I feel like Avery and I, we know each other so well that when we spar each other, that we both have different things where we can figure each other out.
Yeah,
But I always say, like, Avery has that advantage. He's 6 feet tall, 195 pounds. It's a certain level of respect as a fighter that I have to give him.
yeah. So one thing that bothers me, along with probably everyone, is the female fighters being treated a little differently. At some tournaments it's the same, some tournaments it's not. But there's organizations like the Female Fighters Matter. I've seen hoodies like that all over.
Mhm.
Like Regina Thompson, Kiara. All them wear those hoodies. Chelsea, I think, has one. Um, do you think what is your opinion on the whole differential between where some male fighters might get more money or get more stage time or get more appearances as opposed to female fighters?
Yeah, sure. So that's a really good question. But because I've been around for a while, I think national tournaments do a pretty good job at, helping with the discrepancy now, especially with the overall grand championships. And we receive the same amount of money, but it's a little different because, with women, we just have 1 grand, when men, they have two for lightweight and heavyweight. And I understand why they do it, but there's still a difference. And there have been times when I've been to tournaments and Avery and I both won. Not in recent years, but I received $300 when he received 1,000. And winning it's good, but going home when we both won and I have a significant amount of money less than he does, that doesn't feel too good and doesn't do too well for I feel like female's ego. So what Maggie Messina is doing with the Female Fighters Matter Too movement, I think that it's a really good thing because if anything, it gives us more visibility and so that people understand the different kind of discrepancies that go on.
I couldn't agree
I couldn't
more.
agree more.
I think
I
that
think
female fighters are certainly getting what they should be now. It's a lot different now. It was bad before. but
Hmm.
I think people are starting to take awareness. They're starting to see it
Yeah. Yeah.
now. I know for a fact because I've had female fighting students in the past, and I always show them your fights. I always, they always looked up to you, and I know you're definitely a role model in the fighting community alone, let alone the female fighting community. Is there any young female fighters that you're looking forward to seeing grow up in your shoes and winning a lot and trying hard and practicing hard and never giving up no matter what happens, whether it's an injury or a circumstance that prevents them from training or going to karate? you know are you, or just in general, like, how excited are you to see that people are looking at you and going, I want to be Morgan Plowden?
Yeah, so I think I love seeing women or people in general be successful at something that they love. And as a someone who teaches other people and trains with other young female fighters in my school, just watching them train hard and do well and watching it translate over to tournaments and in competition and watching them be successful, I think that that's a really good feeling. Just to see them sweat and work hard down at their darkest times and then see them have those big highlights and see them win different world championships. Like that's a great feeling just to see because I've experienced it myself, but to see someone else do it who I've, sweated with, who I've cried with, I think that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. Now, is there, if you had one pick to fight any woman on the scene, like if they were going, hey, at the U.S. Open, we want to have a dream match between Morgan Plowden and who is the person that you're picking to have like a fight for the ages, the one that everybody's gonna record on their phones and save, and we're gonna watch it in 20 years and be like, that's still the greatest fight I've ever seen.
Yeah, see, I don't know if I can answer that question in the way that you want to because for me, I want to win.
Yeah,
So,
I'd probably pick that too. But when it comes down to it, I still always pick Jackson. Because me and him are good friends, and I always tell him, one day I'm gonna beat you, and I'm like, this is my trophy now.
yeah, I understand, but yeah, that's a really interesting question. But yeah, I don't know because I feel like no matter what, I want to come away with the win.
Yeah, it's
So
like my favorite person to fight would probably be nobody. That way, I can just take the trophy. Yeah,
yeah, I love great competition, and I love when you have those really good fights, or when you're losing in between rounds and you have to come back from that adversity. But no matter what, I want to look good. I want to win.
yeah, yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of judges you'd want to fight. There's always the one judge that we all just don't like, but we shake their hand anyway. But yeah,
Yeah,
now,
you have to be so good. You can't rely on one judge.
yeah. So when you were growing up, who was the female fighter that you looked at, that you wanted to be like, that you were looking at, that you would fight like, that you would watch videos of them?
Yeah, so I've always looked since I was a little girl. I've always looked up to Regina Thompson. She was on my dad's team when I was young. She was on the SES, and I can remember her and some of the guys. They would come to my dad's tournament, and it was just watching her fight. It was so different than from watching other females fight, and she was just inspirational, especially to see another black female that you can look up to as a fighter.
Yeah, I believe David Prame, if I'm pronouncing that right, he commented, people like you and Gina Thornton and Regina Thompson are paving the way for the next generation. They are pioneers for equality when it comes to women in sport martial arts.
Yeah,
And
I agree. I think you have to have women who have that voice for the next generation, for the younger girls.
yeah, I mean, I know growing up, I had a lot of female inspiration because it was just me and my mom. So
Mhm.
I watched her work so hard to let me compete and to go to all these events, and behind behind every competitor there's a support system, right? But when it comes down to it, it's just the words, I can't even think of the words right now. It's just truly, it's nice. It's just it's good. It's good for the sport. It's good for us, and it's nice that we can all get behind helping everybody succeed. We want everybody to succeed. That that's what martial arts is about, making sure everybody is not just safe and well taught, but can succeed and learn the qualities. That's why we're martial artists. We want to
Hmm.
learn respect, discipline, and all those good qualities.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree more. Now, if now you know, eventually, I don't want to say this, but if you had to pick one person to pass down the torch to, like if the dynasty is over, if the Morgan Plowden era is coming to an end, you had to pick one to pass it off to, a nice young female fighter. Would you narrow it down to like one, two, three? Could you think of anybody that you're excited to see watch grow up into the
Oh,
fight?
I'm excited to watch all the fighters grow up. So, because to be honest, in that 18 to 29 division, I'm one of the oldest females, in that group.
No,
Yeah, I am. Trust me, I paid attention.
no.
But I'm excited to see them all grow. But I can't say that I can just pass the torch down to one, especially because I have young girls in my school that you know
Yeah,
that wouldn't be fair of me to say, oh, I'm gonna pick you to pass it on.
yeah. Ooh, that is a very great question. Is there a tournament that you want to win at that you haven't yet?
Yeah, that is a good question because last year my first official tournament back doing individuals, like my first NASCA was the U.S. Open, and I had not won the U.S. Open until last year, as far as like an overall grand. So that was a really good one for me to win. And my dad asked me something like that last weekend, actually. But yeah, there are a couple on the NASCAR circuit that I haven't won, but I haven't done them. Um, but I want to win everything. That's a really good question. I have to really sit there and think about it. Um, yeah, I did teams at the Irish Open this year, but I didn't get a chance to do individuals. That's one that I would like to win.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody wants to kind of branch out because after doing national events for so long, you kind of think, should I try the international scene? Like the Irish Open. You have Waco. There's WKC, which I know your dad put a great show on in Detroit. Props to him. It looked very well.
I've done WKC for since 2010, and I absolutely love it. I don't think there's anything that that compares to fighting for your country, or competing for your country, and the camaraderie that you have just on the USA team, because it's different than when you just go on the national circuit when you have all these different pockets of teams versus when you have so many of your brothers and sisters from the same country cheering you on. Like it's a great feeling.
That's back when if you think about it, that's like how it used to be. That's how people did it. They all got together and they took a team of people and they went across the world and they fought. That was it. It's not anywhere how it is now, but it's good to go back to where you have a bunch of people. It doesn't matter what team you're on in NASCAR or Pro Mac or NMAC or whatever. You're on Team USA.
Hmm.
That is it.
Yeah.
Everybody's bonding together to compete for the country, and if I'm correct, nobody compares. We definitely, we always have a good turnout. I've seen you guys fight the WKC. I've seen everything. I didn't get to make it out this year. I had a little bit of a family situation, but I will definitely make it out next year, and
Mhm.
I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward
Yeah.
to it. If I'm correct, Madrid is after this year. This year's in Niagara Falls, and next year's Madrid, right?
Yes, you are correct.
International waters. So I have a personal question. I was dying to ask this all interview. I'm returning to fighting after a forever hiatus because a while ago I had an incident and I chose not to fight. I've been training since I've started, but I haven't fought in a NASCA in over a decade. So I'm fighting at the Dixieland Nationals. Give me advice so I don't get killed.
Well, you have to make. You said you've been training, but I always recommend doing a couple local tournaments just to get your timing right, get comfortable out there. So when it comes time for the NASCAR, you'd be good to go.
Yeah, and I'm sure that can apply for everyone. A lot of people that want to go national with their art, whether it be with weapons or forms or fighting, start local, work your way up to like a regional tournament, and then go national.
Yeah, I think locals are very, very important to keep yourself current to whatever you're working on. If you just jump out there and do national tournaments all the time, you can't fix the little mistakes that you're making.
Yeah. So all you people out there that are running local tournaments and regional tournaments, please do not stop. We need you.
Yeah.
Seriously. And not to mention, it's hard to find local tournaments. Like good local tournaments, sometimes they're hard to come by, at least where I'm from.
Hmm.
We're not really rolling in regionals, and you go to a local tournament, completely different rules, completely different judges, and completely biased people. They don't want to see this, they don't want to see you release it, they don't want to see you that. And but yeah, don't stop. Do you hear me? Yeah, Chunky says do not stop. So now it's bonded by law. Chunky says you can't stop running regional tournaments. But yeah, I'm excited to see you. I will see you at the U.S. Open.
All
Right?
right,
You'll
we
be there. You'll be
yeah,
there.
there.
Thank God. But yeah, and tell your mom, your dad, your brother that I say hello. I love you guys. You guys are a really great family.
I will do. And I heard you met another Plowden this past
I
week.
did. I crossed them off the list. I met Travis, and then your dad had to literally shoot me down and go, there's another one, right? And
Here's
I
another
go,
one.
I'm like, oh God, I don't even know that one. I at least knew Travis through like I saw him at a tournament, and then I friended him on Facebook, and once you friend someone on Facebook, you're friends forever,
It's
and you
pretty
can invite him to your wedding, all that kind of stuff, because Facebook rules the world. But I
quickly.
I definitely I have to fill the Plowden list. Yeah, it's a daunting task, I'm telling you. Maybe when I'm in Michigan next year.
Yeah, if you come,
Yes.
and then you would definitely cross more off your list.
Yes. Yes. There are true goals right there. Anyway, so I'm not going to keep any longer, mostly because I'm out of questions and I don't want to stutter here for 10 more minutes. But
Yeah,
yeah, I it was great talking to you. I look
good talk.
forward to meeting you in the US Open, and I'm going to wrap up the show.
All right.
I have official instructions from Alex when I'm wrapping up this show. Just say goodnight. Thanks for tuning in. All right. So you're going to stay on. All
Oh,
right, guys. Thank you for tuning in to Point Fighter Live. It was an honor to hold this for Alex. You know, I didn't believe when we first started it, but he assured me that I had the power, baby. And, I feel it now. I feel the power. So, on behalf of me and Morgan and Mason and Alex, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in, and I hope you all have a good night.